Good morning to everyone. This is Group 5 and we will be talking about the National Curriculum Framework NCF 2005. These are the contents of our presentations: perspective, guiding principles, learning and knowledge, curricular area, school and curriculum, systematic reform. Do you know what is NCF 2005? Let me explain you. The National Curriculum Framework 2005 is one of the four NCF published in 1975, 1988, 2000, 2005 by the NCERT in India. The NCF 2005 documents draw its policy basis from earlier government's reports on education as learning without burden and National Policy of Education's 1986 to 1992 and focus group discussions. The approach and recommendations of NCF 2005 are for the entire educational system. The National Curriculum Framework 2005 provides the student as well as the society a set of plan of what students have to learn and are expected to achieve at the end of their secondary schooling. The main aims of the frameworks are to fulfill the needs of the students and fulfill the needs of the country. The NCF is best described as element which are vital in every student's learning periods and principle which is the Ministry of Education's imposes on teachers. The NCF also draft the rules and regulations in the way of assessing the students at school and also at the national level, that is the secondary and higher secondary level. A curriculum framework is also referred to a sort of plan set up by the Ministry of Educations again imposed on teachers to be taught in order to achieve a good learning outcome. And at the end of the learning time, the student must be able to prove an evaluations of knowledge acquired during the stay at school. Why NCF 2005? To remove ills of present school education, inflexibility of school practice, learning becomes a isolated activity than life, school discouraging creative thinking, neglecting whole personality of child, neglecting present of child for future. To promote an all-around development of the individual, physical, intellectual, social and emotional, leading to a balanced, active, healthy and productive lifestyle. To develop in the learner knowledge and skill to empower him to participate meaningfully in an information-driven economy. To develop creative thinking skills and learning skills required for the future. To promote equity and social justice by providing opportunity for every learner according to his interest, needs and potentials.
History of the National Curriculum Framework. The framework is an endeavor of the National Council for Teacher Education to encourage interested parties and stakeholders to give their views on the qualitative and quantitative improvements that could be achieved in educating teachers at school, graduate, postgraduate, doctoral, and postdoctoral levels. A previous curriculum framework had been developed in 1978 by the Council itself, which at that time was just a department rather than an independent body, followed by the NCERT framework for teacher education in 1988, which subsequently led to the first curriculum framework for quality teacher education by NCTE in 1998. This was succeeded in 2005 by Mukesh Devnath. The contents of NCF 2005 are perspective, guiding principles, learning and knowledge, curricular area, school and classroom, and systematic reform. Development of NCF 2005. The National Curriculum Framework 2005 is the fourth national curriculum framework published in 2005 by the National Council of Educational Research and Training in India. Its predecessors were published in 1975, 1988, and 2000. The NCF 2005 serves as a guideline for syllabus, textbooks, and teaching practices for the schools in India. The NCF 2005 has based its policies on previous government reports on education such as Learning Without Burden and National Policy of Education 1986 to 1992 and focus group discussion. After multiple deliberations, 21 national focus group position papers have been published to provide inputs for NCF 2005. NCF 2005 and its offshoot textbooks have come under different forms of reviews in the press. Its draft document was criticized by the Central Advisory Board of Education. In February 2008, Krishna Kumar, then the director of NCERT, also discuss the challenges faced by the document in an interview. The subjects of NCF 2005 include all educational institutions in India. A number of its recommendations, for example, focus on rural schools. The syllabus and textbooks based on it are being used by all the CBSE schools and multiple state schools. NCF 2005 has been translated into 22 languages and has influenced the syllabus in 17 states. This exercise is being executed with the support of state councils for educational research and training and district institutes of education and training. The vision of National Curriculum Framework. The NCF has aimed at bringing about reforms in the education system to bring about a curriculum that is learner-centric, as a flexible process, provide learner autonomy. Teacher plays a role of facilitator, supports and encourages learning, involves active participation of learners and develops multidisciplinary.
Perspective of NCF 2005. Reorientation of our perception of learners and learning. Holistic approach in the treatment of learners' development and learning. Creating an inclusive environment in the classroom for all students. Learner engagement for construction of knowledge and fostering of creativity. Active learning through the experiential mode. Adequate room for voicing children's thoughts, curiosity, and questions in curricular practices. Connecting knowledge across disciplinary boundaries to provide a broader framework for insightful construction of knowledge. The learner should be engaged in the following activities: observing, exploring, discovering, analyzing, critical reflection, and content of knowledge. There should be activities for developing critical perspectives on socio-cultural realities, need to find space in curricular practices, local knowledge and experiential learning, environmental sensitive generation by undertaking environment related projects, attitudes and interests that have implications, choosing and organizing the content and process of knowledge. Guiding principles of NCF 2005. Connecting knowledge to life around and outside the school. Shifting away from learning from the rote methods. Enriching the curriculum for overall development of children rather than it remain textbook centric. Making examinations flexible and integrated into life. Nurturing an identity under caring democratic concerns of the country.
Learning and knowledge. Learning and knowledge are the three important points, that is basic capability, forming and sustaining a relationship, some principles regarding the approach to knowledge in the curriculum. Now see basic capability. Children's basic capabilities are those that the form both basic for the development of understanding values and skills. Language and other form of experience provide basic for meaning making and sharing with others. They create possibility of development of understanding, and knowledge provide the ability, symbolizes codifying and remember and record. Now see forming and substantial relationship. The forming and substantial relationship has 5 important points, that is a social world, natural world, oneself, emotional richness, sensitivity, value. The principle of knowledge in curriculum, acquiring a critical perspective on social reality and the natural environment, connecting with the local and the contextualized in order to suit knowledge, realizing its relevance and meaningfulness. Moving out to the boundaries of broaden one's learning from observing, interacting, clarifying, categorizing, questioning, reasoning in relation to those experiences.
I'm going to talk about the curriculum areas that comes under National Curriculum Framework 2005. National Curriculum Framework 2005 has 5 different curriculum areas. They are languages, mathematics, science, social science, and the fifth area has the combination of art and heritage crafts, health and physical education, education for peace, work education, and assessment. In the area of languages, 3 language formula is implemented in which multilingual expressions take place. Also in English medium schools, Indian languages are expected to be valorized. Next comes mathematics. To most of the people, mathematics is an area of threat. But with the help of NCF 2005, mathematics could be taught in a way to develop thinking and reasoning, mainly to visualize abstractions and formulate, and also to solve problems. The next curricular area that NCF 2005 focuses on is science. Here, teaching with demonstrations helps the learner to acquire method, and it enhances the thinking process It creates curiosity to explore new things and also builds creativity. The fourth curricular area of NCF 2005 is social science. According to NCF 2005 teaching methodology, it promotes problem solving ability among students and creates a sustainable environment for them to have conceptual understanding rather than memorizing the hard facts when it comes to examinations. The fifth area of NCF 2005 is a combination of five different elements or distinct features. Firstly, art and heritage crafts. For instance, extracurricular activities and crafts should be made compulsory till 10th grade at all schools. Next will be health and physical education, which in particular gives importance to the children's hygiene and to grow as a disciplined, responsible citizens with moral values. This can be achieved through games, sports, NCC, Red Cross, Scouts, and so on. Thirdly, the work education, which deals with generic competencies which is pursued at every level. The fourth element to be known is education for peace. It is a skill which helps the children to stay non-violent and to make peace by resolving issues. Lastly, assessment. It is a very significant feature to be followed persistently to enhance the quality of teaching and learning.
School and classroom environment. The NCF says that the physical environment should be favorable. There should be a good infrastructure, good lighting, and good ventilation in classrooms. And the student teacher ratio should not be more than 1:30. That is, one teacher for every 30 students. As you can see in this picture on the right, this is an example of an ideal classroom. There is good ventilation, good lighting, and the students are seated equally spaced. So overall, the school should provide a hygienic and a safe environment for the students. Next, the textbooks. They should be written in such a way that it offers an interactive space for children. Schools should also treat all the students with equality, justice, respect, and dignity. Next, schools should give equal opportunities for all the students without any bias. Schools should be well equipped with libraries, laboratories, etc. Policy of inclusion must be implemented at school and classroom level.
Systemic reforms of NCF 2005. Teaching is a professional activity. The current practice of academic planning for school education is largely a top-down annual exercise. Its focus is on how teaching time should be allocated for teaching of subject, content over the year, and stipulating other activities that will be conducted in schools. To be meaningful, academic planning has to be done in a participative manner by heads and teachers. Teacher education should focus on developing professional identity of the teacher. Teacher education must become more sensitive to the emerging demands from school system. For this, it must prepare the teacher for the roles of being an encouraging, supportive, realize their physical and intellectual potentialities to the fullest, and to develop character and desirable social and human values to function as responsible citizens. Strengthening the Panchayati Raj institutions and encouraging community participation for enhancing quality and accountability. Examination reforms to reduce psychological stress, particularly on children in class 10th and 12th. Examination reforms highlight shift from content-based testing to problem solving, examination of shorter duration and flexible time limit.
So I'll be talking on the gaps and flaws of NCF 2005 with respect to teachers as well as students. The National Curriculum Framework 2005 articulates a new vision of the school curriculum as an inclusive space that extends beyond the conventional textbook into the realm of teaching learning processes. While this vision has the potential to enable education to become a critical catalyst in the process of social transformation, it fails to engage enough with the most crucial link, the agency of the teacher. The proactive engagement of the school teacher with processes of curriculum redesign is a necessary condition to ensure the success of the NCF. However, radical change in the school curriculum without changing the central reality of teachers in Indian classroom can do little to alter educational processes and outcomes. The reality is more nuanced and complex, with most school teachers across the country being undertrained, misqualified, undercompensated, demotivated instruments of the mechanical system of education that was initially conceived as a support to a colonial regime. Now I'll be talking on the barriers or flaws of NCF 2005 with respect to students, or the central reality of students in India. The first point is the ground reality. The ground reality is that in most of the schools in India, students teachers and administrators are apathetic towards the process of education. Fraudulent ways are being adopted to complete the process, and a large number of educated youth find themselves without jobs. Lack of supervisory staff. Sources in the department admit that the educational standard has taken a hit due to the severe crunch of supervisory staff. If such is the condition of our government schools, then how can we be able to fulfill the aim of constructive learning? Because if there is a shortage of supervisory staff, then who will judge the performance of teachers and the outcomes of the learners? Extra burden on teachers. Because of lack of infrastructure and staff in schools, the teacher have been given the extra responsibilities which further affect the performance of the teachers. No learning based on understanding. Though NCF 2005 has given emphasis to the constructive learning which is purely based on understanding, but still in schools the old method of Jagmug theory has been given importance. Rote learning. We still follow what the colonial system Britishers left for us. We still follow the rote learning system, and it is prevalent till this date. This reveals that still our education system needs a change in the ground level, because though policies are made for constructive and cooperative learning which is completely based on understanding and develops the mental abilities of the child, but still it is far from implementation. Corporal punishment. The news published in Times of India in 2012 emphasized that corporal punishment is required for the desired behavior of the child, which is against the norms of NCF 2005. As many of 30% of principals and 40% of teachers surveyed believed that strict enforcement of discipline is necessary for proper teaching, and the teacher's control of a student is a must for discipline. Less emphasis on co-scholastic areas. The news also explored that 70% of the principals said that co-scholastic areas are definitely relevant to curriculum and for building students' self-confidence, self-control, sportsmanship, solidarity, teamwork, competitiveness, health, etc. However, less than half who said so mentioned that their school places no major emphasis for these areas in curriculum. Dominance of number system. In school, there is the dominance of number system. Schools don't have any concern with learning, rather their main concern is to produce scores which further help these institutions to get more admissions. So we saw the main points of NCF 2005. We went through its agendas and we got to know the changes it brought in the world of education in India. We even saw the gaps and barriers in it. So I would like to end this topic by raising a serious question. Is there any coordination between the head and hands? And if there is no coordination, then what is the cause of it? We need the education in which the child's natural instinct of learning cannot be suppressed, and if it is suppressed by us, then we all are the culprit of humanity. Thank you.